It's a orange juice.
So the Goblin Giant is really tanky. If you leave him alone, he will take out your tower. He deals the same amount of damage as Rascal Boy, though he attacks slower. He has Spear Goblins on his back. Only the log knocks back this massive beast. The bowler doesn't even knock him back. This means Fireball and Snowball will not knock him back. Executioner destroys the Giant Goblin because the Spear Gobs don't have the chance to initiate their first attack. When the Goblin Giant dies, it drops 2 Spear Goblins. From a mechanical standpoint, they're spawning for the first time. Therefore, they will attack the nearest units instead of continuing to attack the Princess Tower. They've got a wacky spawn delay where they take a little bit longer to spawn than barbarians do coming out of a battle ram. You can't use the log to kill the Goblin Giant and expect to take out the Spear Goblins as well. If you used him to defend a push and are counter-attacking, a miner's not a bad idea to use to tank those 2 Spear Goblins. But this is not a good bridge spam combo. That would straight up be a 9 elixir push, leaving you incredibly vulnerable. He behaves exactly like a giant, so a 5-2 placement is exactly enough to pull him just like he would a giant. When you tornado him to the King Tower to activate, be careful because 1 or 2 of those Spear Goblins will actually keep hitting that Princess Tower, but if you can afford the damage, that's totally fine. If you can't though, that's a lot of damage to your Princess Tower. In a perfect scenario, you'll have a cheap disposable tank like an Ice Golem to absorb the Spear Goblins. Plant him near the King Tower to aggro the Spear Goblins on his back, and Tornado to activate. If you've managed to get his health low enough and you know he's gonna pop before you can drag him towards the King Tower, Tornado him towards it anyways. The Spear Gobs will spawn and they will activate his Royal Highness. Skeletons or bats planted in front of the bridge will not be able to stop him because the Spear Goblins one-shot those bats and skellies. So what you've got to do is wait till the Spear Goblins lock onto the tower before planting these small units down. The Goblin Giant pairs really well with Zap because it destroys Minion Horde and other Swarmer units after being zapped. Just because now the Spear Gobs can now one-shot the minions. Kiting beefy units are the best because the Spear Gobs attack it while the big boy goblin runs away, pulling the giant skeleton. Left ignored, that giant goblin's gonna deal work to the tower. But using Goblin Giant to kite slower units like a P.E.K.K.A will only kite it to the other tower since he moves a bit faster than the big Mama P.E.K.K.A. She'll get 3 hits on the Princess Tower left unattended. But maybe you can afford the damage on the opposite side. It's still useful to do just in case you need to separate the P.E.K.K.A from support units to utilize both your Princess Towers to address the Musketeer by itself. Bonus points for using skeletons or goblins to distract the big Mama P.E.K.K.A. It's incredibly satisfying to kite a baby dragon since they both share the same move speed, capitalizing on both your towers, hitting the baby dragon, and now you're up a beefy giant goblin for 2 elixir. Basically, anything medium move speed is the perfect unit to kite. It chases him indefinitely while getting chipped away at the Spear Goblins. Another unit you can use to kite him really effectively is going to be a Dark Prince. The Prince is a splasher, not a heavy hitter, so he tickles the giant for 2 elixir. They now have to deal with this Mega Goblin. You can also kite units such as a Mega Minion, Baby Dragons away from battle if placed correctly. It's especially useful to separate poorly positioned air support units from Giant and Golem pushes. Giant Goblin versus Graveyard is amazing. There's nothing they can do besides Graveyard Freeze, especially since most Graveyard decks will carry poison, and they can't poison those Spear Goblins sitting in the Giant Goblin's basket. The Goblin Giant alongside any other card like Zap, Ice Spirit, Snowball, basically anything, will help him completely stop a naked balloon. Giant Goblin Graveyard combo is 11 elixir, and during double elixir you can actually plant the Graveyard, then the Goblin Giant to aggro both of their towers onto your Goblin. It's an expensive combo though, so you gotta be sure, you gotta be absolutely sure they can't counter this combo or you are dead. He functions like Ice Golem and unzappable Spear Goblins. So when pitted against the Lava Hound, those Spear Goblins are going to chip away at the Hound faster, and when timed correctly, that Goblin Giant is going to tank the Lava Pups. Giant Goblin versus Tombstone. If you don't zap the Tombstone, those Spear Goblins, they'll take out the Skeletons. But if you zap the Tombstones, they'll have less time to react, and there's going to be a higher chance that those Spear Goblins are going to aggro onto the tower immediately before they can defend with an Ice Golem. You call 6 Spear Goblins on 6 Skeletons, or 6 Spears on the Princess Tower for 400 damage. That's pretty good for just zapping the tombstone. If you defend Rascals with Goblin Giant on your side, you perfectly stop the Rascals safely. He has enough health to tank the girls, and the Spear Goblins have enough damage to take out the boy. But if you plant him behind the Rascal girls, the Spear Goblins will lock onto the girls, take out the girls first, and then kite the boy onto their side. This can deal damage to their tower, but it's a little risky because if your opponent brings any other troops, that Goblin Giant is dead. Because of his high health and ranged attack, he's very good against Expo. He can tank the Expo, and the Spear Goblins kind of eliminate all the small troops around him. Remember, the Giant Goblin's range is the same as Spear Goblins, so you could tank with something like an E-Wiz. And once it's out of range, it will target onto the tower, minimizing the damage your tower takes. If they have supporting troops behind the Goblin Giant, then you can't do this, because that E-Wiz is just going to die and you're going to be down a lot of elixir. Basically, everything in the Fireball-y category, meaning any unit that dies to Fireball easily, like Wizard, Magic Archer, E-Wiz, they're all very sensitive to this unit. The Spear Goblins deal just enough damage that you've actually got to worry about your placement. So if you plant the Magic Archer within range and tank the Spear Goblins, that's 200 damage less on your Princess Tower, but your Magic Archer is now dead. Negative elixir trade. It's clear that the Magic Archer and other Fireballies are a terrible idea to handle the Goblin Giant by himself, but if you absolutely must, plant him out of range of the Spear Goblin so that it doesn't die. Yeah, your Princess Tower is going to take a bit more damage, but at least you're not going to completely lose that Fireball unit, and you'll be able to use him to counterattack or something like that. Thanks for watching.